grow the
Hold
league.
on.
So aid and have that revenue share, like what we're worth. We help grow the league. So we need to be able to be treated and compensated like that. And
Okay. I gotta stop. When they say something crazy, I gotta stop it. We've helped grow this league. No, y'all done. I'm not gonna say y'all did zero, but Caitlin Clark came and did 99% of it. What are you talking about? We deserve this. We deserve that. You do know, as much as all this, we've helped grow this and help grow that. You know what you haven't helped? The owners turn over a revenue and make a green dollar. You have not helped the owners in all of your... Hold on, man.
You need to stop what you're doing and really pay attention, because the level of delusion coming from some WNBA veterans has hit a breaking point. For months, certain players have insisted that they built the league, laid the foundation, and now deserve a massive payday for their collective efforts. But when Chelsea Gray went on national television during the stalled CBA negotiations and said, "We've helped grow the league, so we need to be treated and compensated like that," it sparked serious debate. On the surface, it sounds like a routine player empowerment statement. However, critics argue the timeline tells a different story. Gray has been in the league since 2014, and for years the WNBA reportedly operated at a financial loss, with owners allegedly absorbing millions annually. The big question being raised is, if the league was growing so successfully, where was the profit? Why weren't there loud demands for 50% revenue sharing in 2021 or 2022? The argument being made is that revenue sharing becomes far more appealing once revenue actually spikes. Then came Caitlin Clark, whose arrival coincided with dramatic increases in ratings, attendance, and merchandise sales. Many fans believe she became the catalyst for the league's sudden surge in mainstream attention. Critics compare it to a group project where one person does most of the heavy lifting, and others show up at the end expecting equal credit. The debate intensified further with the launch of the off-season 3-on-3 league Unrivaled, founded by top players like Breanna Stewart and Nafisa Collier. It was promoted as elite competition featuring the best talent in the world, yet struggled to generate major ratings buzz. Supporters of the Caitlin Clark effect argue this served as a real-world test. When Clark is involved, mainstream interest drops significantly. Whether that conclusion is fully fair or not remains part of the larger discussion. But one thing is undeniable. Caitlin Clark's presence dramatically shifted the conversation around the WNBA, and that impact is now at the center of the league's financial and cultural debate.
And players that everybody in the league looks up to and respects. How have those conversations been going as of late? Any movement towards what you as player collective want to see?
Yeah, so they did give us another proposal. The needle has moved a little bit, not as much as we would have hoped up to this point. And so sometimes it kind of feels like we're in scramble mode a little bit because this
You stars are playing in Unrivaled and nobody's watching. Y'all not looking at the fact that when one player, Caitlin Clark, got injured last year, all of y'all's ratings tanked by more than 50%.
The host argues that whenever Caitlin Clark was injured or off the court last season, viewership reportedly dropped by more than 50%, calling it Nielsen-backed reality rather than speculation. That statistic fuels the central question. When veterans say, "We grew the league," who exactly is we? Critics claim that for years the league largely maintained the status quo, and that the recent exponential spike in attention, ratings, and commercial interest has been overwhelmingly tied to one singular figure: the Caitlin Clark effect. From that perspective, demanding a major revenue increase based on someone else's market impact feels disconnected from basic business logic. You can't walk into your boss's office and ask for a raise because a new hire is generating massive profits. Compensation negotiations typically reflect direct value creation. The commentary also dives into what it frames as a psychological barrier, an unwillingness among some veterans to openly acknowledge Clark's impact. Instead of naming her influence directly, critics say they rely on broad phrases like growth of the game or momentum we built, which the host interprets as a defense mechanism to protect legacy and ego. When Chelsea Gray mentioned wanting a 50-50 revenue split, the debate intensified. Owners have reportedly subsidized the league for decades, absorbing significant losses. And now that revenue projections are improving, there is tension over how quickly profits should be shared. The league has projected that certain proposals could result in hundreds of millions in losses, arguing that the current financial structure cannot sustain immediate equal splits. Supporters of the players counter that long-term growth should benefit the athletes driving the product, while critics argue that profit sharing should follow sustained profitability, not a short-term surge. The controversy deepens with accusations that some veterans were overly physical or hostile toward Clark on the court, which critics frame as counterproductive behavior toward the league's biggest draw. In business terms, if one product is flying off the shelves, you protect and promote it, you don't undermine it. Ultimately, the entire situation reflects a high-stakes power struggle over credit, money, legacy, and the future direction of the league, with Caitlin Clark's impact sitting squarely at the center of the storm.
How come it only happened when Caitlin Clark got here? Yes, there was a CBA negotiation and COVID and all of that, where Kathy Engelbert had to pay y'all up front and all this other stuff. Y'all was willing to let the league go under during the COVID year. We gonna forget about that. All of this big money, rah stuff y'all was talking. How come in the WNBA? Chelsea Gray has been in the WNBA since 2014. She's been in the league 11 years. In 11 years, you have not helped the WNBA owners turn over a profit. In all of your 11 years, the WNBA and the
Now, let's examine the marketing side of this debate. For years, fans were told that the WNBA simply needed more investment and stronger promotion. And to be fair, the league did receive major backing. ESPN increased coverage, the NBA amplified support, and Nike rolled out campaigns. Yet the overall needle barely moved. Then Caitlin Clark arrived from Iowa, pulling up from logo range and playing a high-risk, high-reward style that instantly grabbed national attention. The argument being made is that marketing alone cannot manufacture organic excitement. It only amplifies something people already find compelling. Slogans and apparel campaigns didn't spark a surge. A generational talent with a must-watch style did. Chelsea Gray is widely respected as an elite player, nicknamed the point god for her skill and composure. But critics argue that elite skill and mainstream magnetism are not always the same thing. In the modern sport economy, star power is measured not just by efficiency ratings, but by how many casual viewers tune in and how many jerseys move off shelves. The commentary also references controversial union tactics during negotiations, including social media stunts, suggesting that theatrics may be overshadowing serious business discussions. According to this perspective, framing negotiations as activism rather than partnership creates unnecessary friction between players and owners at critical growth moment. The concern is that resentment toward ownership, new fans, or shifting popularity dynamics could undermine progress. If negotiations were collapsed into a lockout, the biggest casualty would likely be the fans and the momentum the league has recently gained. A season loss would mean lost revenue, lost exposure, and lost prime development time for emerging stars. The debate even extends a positional legacy. Some commentators claim Clark has redefined the point guard role in the league, drawing lofty comparisons and highlighting her record-breaking assist numbers as a rookie despite intense defensive pressure. For established stars like Gray, that kind of rapid shift in spotlight can't be easy. But in the entertainment-driven business of professional sports, compensation and leverage are often tied as much to audience demand as to pure basketball fundamentals. Ultimately, this controversy isn't just about contracts. It's about identity, hierarchy, ego, economics, and the evolving definition of value in a rapidly changing league landscape.
And say, okay, I've been through so many cycles of collective bargaining, and often things tend to get done at the 11th hour.
The timeline of the CBA negotiations has also raised eyebrows. Why did serious talks seem to intensify so late in the process? Why wait until what Adam Silver described as 11th hour? Critics argue it feels like the union believed the threat of a strike alone would pressure ownership into agreeing to a massive revenue split. But that strategy may have overestimated player leverage. Ownership understands the current marketplace. They've seen which games drive ratings, which players move merchandise, and which storylines generate national attention. From their perspective, any offer on the table has to reflect sustainable business realities, not short-term hype. The debate becomes even sharper when discussing how the league's emerging star should be handled. If the true goal is long-term growth, many argue that established veterans would benefit from openly embracing Caitlin Clark, mentoring her, promoting her, and using her visibility to elevate the entire league. That's how entertainment businesses traditionally convert casual viewers into loyal fans. You spotlight the attraction, then showcase the depth of the roster. Instead, critics claim the tone has often felt tense, from hard fouls to pointed media